Hey guys, welcome to video number 1, and today what we're going to be talking about is feudalism, alright, and manorialism. What we're going to really be looking at is what the world looked like before we start our unit. So this is kind of a preview, alright? So you got feudalism, manorialism, a fief, vassal, and a serf, alright? So we're going to look at all of those terms today. Today our lesson is to talk about the feudal system and the relationships that it can. Good? Good. Kings. Kings or queens are the head of the society. They are number 1. They are going to make laws, collect taxes, and settle disputes. They are the law, the man, the myth, and the law. The manor is basically a village, the lord's castle, and a church and a surrounding farmland. So you see up here is the castle and the farmland below it. So a kingdom would be made up of several manors. Manorial systems shape the economy of much of Europe. Remember, we're talking Europe before this year starts. All right, and what we're looking at here is for safety and defense, people in the Middle Ages formed small communities around a central lord. Most lord people lived on the manor, which consisted of the castle, the church, and the villages. These manors were isolated, with occasional visits from sellers, from peddlers, from pilgrims, things like that. All right? People who lived on manors needed to produce everything they needed, including food, clothing, and shelter. Items such as iron, salt, wool, and wine were purchased. So what the manors tried to be was self-sufficient. In return for being able to work the land, the peasants gave the lord some of their crops and helped to farm his land. Land was often divided into 3 large fields for growing grain. Only 2 of the fruit, so you'd have the 3 fields, 1, 2, 3. You'd grow on one, and then let the other one kind of lie fallow, so it would basically re-energize, get its nutrients back. All right? This gives you a really good sense of it. This field right now is where the animals are grazing, and not to be gross, but if the animals are grazing, they're also doing something else that's putting nutrients back on the field. Here you see the field for wheat. Here you see the field for barley. Lords and nobles are nobles, and they're one who controlled the manor. The lord made sure that the peasants performed their duties and paid the rent. So you kind of get this trickle-down thing. King to lord, boom, boom, boom. You're going to get that, all right? What is a knight? Almost all nobles were knights. Training began at age 7, and if you were deemed worthy, you would be dubbed. Get it? Knight life. Ha, ha. Chivalry was a system of rules that dictated, we'll talk about this a little bit in class, but the idea that knights were honest, they were hardworking, they weren't tricky, they were loyal, they were gallant. These are the things that today on some level define what honor and manhood are. All right? Workers on the manor, there were 2 groups, freemen. There's the people who paid rent, and they usually had an important skill. So basically you got a better deal if you were more valuable. If you didn't have a skill, you were less valuable, and you'd be bound, you'd be tied. The relationship between lord and the vassals made it a big part. The vassals, the people below the lord, had a certain duty, and all nobles were basically ultimate vassals of the knight, of the king. So in other words, again, it's this whole trickle down. There's a picture that'll make more sense in a second. Again, feudalism is this almost the social version of this. In exchange of for living and working on his land, the lord offered the peasants protection. So both sides are getting something in this deal. You could probably just argue one's getting a better deal. All right, peasants were poor. They had basically everything they had belonged to the lord. So for the serfs, it's the lord's world, and they're just passing through it. All right? Hard work. Children were important because there were more hands to work. They rarely ate meat, and they had a short life expectancy. This is kind of interesting. Feudal trial was decided in one of 3 ways. Trial by battle. So the accuser and accused would fight it out, and whoever won would be innocent, and whoever lost would be guilty. Compurgation is basically oath-taking, or trial by ordeal. I thought I had a trial by. Look like this. Whoever wins this battle is, here's trial by ordeal. If you're really innocent, you can survive these things, was kind of big. Feudal contract. Basically, I don't like that one. I like it this much better. Pyramid. At the bottom was the serfs. They gave labor to the knights. The knights gave them protection. So on some level, it's going to go up this way and then down that way. Loyalty, military. All right? Notice land and protection kind of filter down this way. What filters up this way is loyalty. And then notice I like what about this is it shows you the numbers. Let's be honest, there's only one king, one pope. There could be multiple lords, there could be multiple knights, and there's a ton of serfs. You see it here again. I like this because it gives you an idea of kind of the up, down nature of the deal. The top, God, kings, nobles, knights, serfs. Yeah, that's weird the way that's doing that. Good graphic organizer for it. Let's see how much you remember. Pause it and see if you can answer these 5 questions. Did you put this? And that's the end of video number 1.